Hello, my name is Rebecca Smedley, and I served my internship with Citizens for Decency. And Citizens for Decency is an organization that works to teach the community about the negative effects of pornography and pornography addiction. I found this internship by emailing my my college's internship office. They had a list of previous internships that other people had participated in, and they had a slight description next to it. So I emailed a few of the internships that I thought I might be interested in, interviewed for Citizens for Decency, and was accepted to the internship. My roles in this internship, I was asked to be the administrative assistant, and there was I think about 7 interns with us at the time, and I was the only administrative assistant. So I was working directly with my boss throughout the whole internship. Now, most of those responsibilities include I had checking email and answering the phone. I had a couple different email accounts that I had to be in charge of. I also took notes at every meeting, both the executive meetings and the staff meetings. I arranged everyone's schedule for the assignments that they were given, and I kept them on schedule. So I kept in contact with everyone throughout the semester. And was I was very close with my boss throughout the semester. He would often call or text or just need help working things out in his mind. He had a hard time really making decisions. He had a lot of advice coming from many different places, so I was often just a backboard for his thoughts, so that he could eventually come to a decision on his own, given the advice that he had received from others in the company. I was also in charge of um, making sure that our conference ran smoothly. We had a conference this semester, um, the Unite to Fight Pornography conference, and at this conference we had a lot of different speakers that came and talked about the negative effects of pornography. We had a couple doctors and Clay Olson, who's the founder of Fight the New Drug. We also had Elder Mervyn B. Arnold, who is the general authority for Idaho. And we had Don Hawkins, who focuses on sexual exploitation, specifically sex trafficking. So that was our main project this semester, was this conference. So I kept everything organized. That was my role in this internship. Greg, my boss, often just asked me to relay what we had done and to make sure that everyone was doing everything that they needed to do. So that took up the majority of my time, was to make sure that all the details that were needed for this conference were completed, so that all the interns could talk to me and I could then relay the information to Craig. So personally, from this experience, I benefited because I stretched myself a lot more than I thought I would. Normally, I would have been okay to be one of the interns that's just given an assignment, I complete it, and then I talk to the administrative assistant. And so I was a bit surprised when Craig asked me to be the administrative assistant. But being able to kind of be in the middle of the thick of things, I I was able to do a lot more than I thought I could have potentially take on a lot more responsibilities and help a lot more. I was also able to see kind of how a nonprofit organization works. It was a little different this semester because most of our focus was on this conference. Um, but I I was also able to help for the following semester to kind of set things up for the coming the new interns. Um, and so I was able to help Craig kind of set up what he wanted his organization to be like, share ideas with him and see how things worked and where we could improve. That was a great benefit for me because now I'm more aware of how an organization works. Now, especially nonprofit organization. I wasn't aware before this semester how much work went into um, any sort of project that they had going on. You have to think about where the money's coming from, if it's reasonable to be spending the money on this. Do we really need to have certain speakers, or are we able to really work with the people in our community to get them to come? Like, how are we advertising? There was a lot more than I had anticipated, and it gave me a lot of experience and a lot of awareness of what I can expect um, working with a nonprofit organization, which is what I hope to do more as I continue throughout my career. Um, Throughout the internship, the main connection I saw between what I learned in my coursework and what I experienced during my internship was the amount of opposition that we received. Um, I didn't I wasn't able to really work with people who had pornography addictions. That's not really what our internship or what this organization was about. It was more about education. And because we were trying to educate the community about such a sensitive subject and something that we believe in, but other people believe that that pornography is a non-issue, there was a lot more opposition than I had anticipated. And often things would just go wrong without really any sort of warning. They just kind of out of nowhere, things would just go wrong. And Craig often would say that the the best things in life are always opposed hardest by Satan. And I saw that as we were doing this, whereas we were trying to teach people that pornography addiction is actually a significantly dangerous mental, emotional, physical thing. Often we were just brushed aside or actively opposed, and it was surprising. And even just things that we didn't really have any control over, like occasionally some of the speakers would have issues with their family and they might not have been able to come, but then we were able to um, work things out so that they could still speak at the conference, whether it be through a phone call or through Skype, or they have a pre-recorded video. Um, so even though there was a lot of opposition, I also saw that with determination and working with others in our community, it it made a significant impact when working with others in our community to make things happen despite opposition. And I believe we talked about that a few times in my classes, how working together with the community gives you um, more influence because you're not the only one working towards something, but it also gives you more support uh, in your goals as well. So I saw that throughout this internship. I would recommend this internship to other students. I quite enjoyed it. It was stressful. There was a lot to do, not a lot of time to do it in. I was working a lot more hours on a weekly basis than I had anticipated. Um, but my role in this organization was slightly different than others who also participated in this internship with me. They had more set assignments. They didn't have as many hours to work as I did in the beginning. Um, and even though it was stressful and I've kind of had to just jump right in and pick things up pretty quick, or risk being left behind, I enjoyed what I did. I enjoyed the growing experience. I enjoyed being able to talk to these speakers as well as my fellow interns and my boss Craig, and find out why they wanted to fight pornography. What was so important to them? Like what experiences they've had in their life? Why this fight? Why not another fight against drugs or alcohol or divorce? Why pornography? It was really interesting. And then also being able to go to the conference and learn from these amazing speakers was amazing. Like I I was able to expand my knowledge so much more than I had anticipated. And I felt connected as I was doing so. And so, if you do want to go into this internship, You'll just need to be aware of how intense the timing sometimes gets, how much might be on your plate, and also because it's an online internship, the timing isn't always set. Often we'd have a meeting at different times every week, and we wouldn't know until the day of or the day before what time the meeting would be. So it's very up in the air. And so if you have less classes or a more loose schedule, I would definitely recommend this internship. Um, so if you do want to get into this internship, go ahead and email secretary at citizensfordecency.org. That would be my email. So whoever takes the administrative assistant position after me, they'll be able to help you with getting an interview and speaking with Craig as well as the two co-chairs, Andrew and you don't get a hold of anyone at that email, they also have their main email, which is Citizens for Decency. Connected to Craig, Andrew, Kenneth, and the administrative assistant, so someone will get back to you. And then when you do email them, your contact person will be Kenneth Pinkerton. Just go ahead and ask for an interview, and he and Andrew will meet with you. And I wish you the best of luck.